Hi everyone, I'm Andrew Zena Hayashi, the Asperger King, and today we're going to be reacting to the video reacting to dating preferences that got you canceled by Misha Petrov. Let's get into it.
He turned out to be a she. What do you expect to happen? Oh, that's a fun surprise. Wouldn't take me being straight as an answer. You gotta take on whatever label they give you, because you're not as oppressed. And I'm racist because I prefer pale girls. From being lesbian to bisexual to a gay man. I broke up with her. Shut the up and let people have their preferences. How about that? Have you ever been called problematic for having dating preferences? Apparently so. Looks like
when
yes. I asked you guys to share your
dating
horror stories. Most of these submissions I can tell are LGBT ones, but there are some straight ones as well. And hopefully we'll get to discuss political differences, right? Different types of preferences when it comes to the actual gender of a person, not just what they say they are or identify as, racial preferences, all of that today. So let's begin. About 2 years ago, I met someone on a dating app. We got along really well. We went on multiple dates, and I was happy to finally find someone I could build a life with, until after months of dating we decided to become more intimate. He turned out to be a she and failed to mention that at any point prior to me seeing her mastectomy scars.
When I dressed up trans, and she had the audacity to get mad at me when I got angry about the situation. Right away.
I left, blocked her number, blocked her on all social media accounts, and added no trans to my dating profile. I now have to explicitly ask every first date, are you trans, just to make sure. And more often than not, I'll get called transphobic, and the date ends. This is an important thing to know for both people, actually. And it's very deceptive to leave this sort of thing out. Now, also, with the trans thing, I think that it's easier for a biological female to pass as a male than biological men to pass as women, just because of, height and bone structure and all of that. So this probably has happened to a good amount of people, unfortunately. And I say unfortunately because you've been speaking for months, and at no point this individual thought, I should probably tell her I'm trans. What do you expect to happen? You get intimate, and she was just gonna be like, oh, that's a fun surprise. Sure, whatever. You can identify however you want, but that is creepy. You have to tell people. Lying to someone like that with the intent to become intimately involved with them should be an SA crime. Yeah, I mean, it's some kind of like sexual fraud, we can say. I don't know, but you can't give consent if you don't know the individual's gender. Call me crazy, hot take, but this is insane. I'm sorry this happened to you, girl. I want a committed long-term monogamous relationship and trying to find that as a gay man. Good luck. Yes, so this is a problem. I have some gay friends who also want this and complain about hookup culture, especially in the gay community, right? Clubbing, and there's a certain expectation, especially when you're younger, of how dating is supposed to look like, and not many people want something serious. I'm not a fan of hookup culture in general. I don't think it matters what your gender or sexuality is. I don't think it's good for anybody. It feels really challenging. I'm tired of hearing how sexual objectification, dehumanization, risky behavior, ghosting, and general lack of care for your fellow human being is gay culture. So you will be called a pick-me by certain gays. In fact, we've seen plenty of TikToks of them doing this. If you have a different political view, you're not this cookie-cutter gay or lesbian person. If you want to call out this gay culture, okay, then yeah, gladly. I would love to be picked by normal gays. Absolutely. A normal human being does not go out to pride parades dressed in a thong in front of kids. They just don't do that. That's not normal. If there's a straight guy or a straight girl doing that, you wouldn't say, yeah, that's great. Or maybe you would, because it's all about liberation, right? We can do whatever we want. Doesn't matter if there are kids there. It's about freedom. Keep that at home. I don't care if you're fat or skinny, ugly or beautiful, gay or straight. I don't care about you. Stop it. Nobody wants to see that in public. We have to bring some shame back.
And how like that, and I get compliments all the time from
is heteronormativity. Is that what there's? Too many lesbians do the U-Haul thing, where it's like, okay, we've known each other for 2 days. Time to move in. Oh my god, no it's not. Slow down. So there's that, but there are plenty who love to do this, hooking up thing, and I guess more so the bi girls, not all bi women, obviously, but some bi girls on dating apps as well, looking for a unicorn. I guess that's LGBT, right? I mean, they're in a relationship with a man, but they're looking for a woman, a polyamorous. But yeah, we have to keep calling this out. This should not be gay culture, and it's sad that so many people struggle to find this. There are so many gay people who just want a monogamous, healthy relationship, and it is harder to find because of the expectation of what it means to be gay, and how you have to carry yourself, and what you have to look like, and it's just annoying. It really is. Last year I dated someone. I'm going to call this person Zara. I thought this person was a girl, and identified as such, as I am a lesbian, and told told her this multiple times, she would always refer to us as girlfriends and lesbians. Well, yeah, I'm with you so far. She was more on the woke side, and at the time, I was too. Okay, then came prom. What, was Zara a guy? Zara wore a suit and makeup that resembled the alt makeup of 2020. If you know, you know. Yeah, I was a bit put off, but figured out she just suddenly wore this. She just wasn't used to dressing for fancy events. I wanted to dance with Zara, but she was on her phone the whole night. Ew. Then she asked if we could go to the bathroom, and I said yes, so we went. Then Zara told me that she identifies as non-binary. All of a sudden, I was really confused. She never corrected people who used female pronouns for her, and didn't correct me when I referred to her as my girlfriend. Imagine telling your prom date this during prom.
Silly. Sorry, ads, guys. I'm not paying to not have ads. Maybe once I'm successful.
There was no better time? Oh my god. I broke up with her. I tried to mask my feelings about this for the rest of the night. I broke up with her after prom. The day after prom. I told her that it just wasn't going to work out. Though I didn't specify why. She's now dating a straight guy. Okay, of course. So what relationship is that? What does that make them? If she's non-binary and the guy is straight, what is that? Is that, well, if we're being honest, that's a straight relationship. But what would they call it? I'm curious. Anyways, this is something you don't tell your date in the bathroom at prom, unless you suddenly magically woke up as non-binary. I prefer to date men, and I complained to my friend about a guy that I liked, and she said my life would be so much better if I dated girls, and wouldn't take me being straight as an answer. Okay, so this is a straight woman, and I'm assuming her friend is also a girl. You shouldn't be telling straight women this. Like, obviously, they can't control who they're attracted to. No one can. Sexuality is not a choice. So you can't just tell a straight girl, hey, you know, it's easier to date women, although I'm gonna have to disagree with you there. I seriously doubt that's the case, and I've actually heard some straight women say this. Oh, I wish I was a lesbian. It's probably so much easier. No. I'm not sure what they think it's like. It's not just, oh my god, let's go get our nails done and let's go have a pillow fight. Like, it's a relationship. There's drama sometimes, jealousy, anything you can experience negative in a straight relationship, you can experience that in a lesbian relationship. Usually tenfold, because it tends to be very intense. So I think that's a little bit annoying when I hear that from some straight women and from some, gay women apparently who are telling this to straight girls. It's stupid. Don't do that. No one can control who they are attracted to. So you can't just tell someone, oh, just date a girl, just date a guy if they're not attracted to them. That would make things 10 times worse for that individual because they'd be with someone they're not attracted to, which would be unfair to that person and the person they're dating. I'm looking at you gay people also who pretend to be straight and are in relationships with the opposite sex even though you don't like them. That's not right. Like, obviously some people have to pretend for survival in other countries, but if it's your choice, don't do that. Getting told I'm lying about being gay even though I'm bi and like girls more. Right, so if you have a preference for girls, it doesn't erase your attraction to men.
I'm
so
bi,
that's,
but I prefer
ridiculous to say that. And then being
women.
told I'm a creep because I prefer short girls, that's fine. People can
I like
prefer shorter, taller, whatever. And I'm racist because I prefer pale girls. Again, like, you wouldn't say this to someone that likes tan girls, right? I've never heard that. So what's with this? That was all from the same person too, and I thank God that person isn't around to pester me anymore with his stupid ideas. Best dating preference that was judged for being bisexual. In high school, talking with girls, I was labeled as just a lesbian who doesn't know better. Why are people doing this? Bisexuality is so misunderstood. And I talked about this a little bit with JoJo Siwa, who identified as a lesbian, even though she's obviously not a lesbian. But in some interview, she was like, no, like, I obviously was a lesbian, it's just now I'm dating a guy. So girl, you are a bi woman. If you felt genuine attraction to a woman, and now you feel genuine attraction to a man, you're capable of being attracted to both. There is a word for that. That is bisexual, okay? So I don't know why people struggle with that so much. Just because she's dating a guy now doesn't mean she's not bisexual. She's still bisexual. When she was dating that girl, she was still bisexual. She may not have known it, but that's bisexuality. So, it doesn't matter who you're dating at the moment. If you're attracted to both, you're bi. Some people in my life were so focused on their own imagined version of my sexuality that now, when I got myself a boyfriend in college, I'm suddenly a traitor. So it seems like you can't really win if you're bisexual, right? I'm suddenly a traitor. Like, the fact that I put a label on me that is correct doesn't mean anything because I had more girl situationships. Can someone explain what's up with the biphobia in the LGBT community? Probably because they want to claim you as their own, right? Like, the lesbians want you to be a lesbian, the straight people maybe want you to be straight, but you're neither. So maybe that's why they're like, join us, and then when you're not joining them, it's like, you're a traitor. But people have to focus on themselves because who cares? I went on a date with a they-them dude. Okay, I'm a woman, and he told me, I think you are non-binary, you just haven't figured it out yet. Sometimes I see you and I see a dude. That's such a great thing to say. That's so rude. Like, imagine you're a straight woman on a date with a guy, and he says, when I look at you, I see a man. I'm super feminine. I just have short hair. I told him, her, them, I am a woman and I feel like a woman and identify as a woman and feel no dysphoria at all. I actually love everything that makes me a woman. He insisted and said, you will look back someday and know I was right. Blocked that right away. As you should, queen. They don't like you to misgender them, but they are also choosing my gender for me? Oh, hell nah. And also, non-binary is not a gender. What gender is non-binary? It's a lack of a gender. It's, floating in between it's a bunch of psychobabble bull. But that's okay. Let's say this guy, they, them, whatever, wants to feel respected, yet is trying to push a gender identity onto you, even though you told him your preferred pronouns, right? And what you feel like. And he's like, no, I see it too.
Annoying.
A lot of these people are narcissists. They want special treatment, but they don't respect anyone else. I'm a gay man, and I went to a fairly religious school throughout my 19 years of life. In middle school, I felt like I had to pretend to have a crush on a girl because most of my friends were either dating or pursuing a girl, and I wanted to fit in. Same here. Did anyone else, if you're gay, kind of just look at the guys and was like, okay, that one is the most conventionally attractive. So to my friends who all have like genuine crushes on guys, I want to fit in. I'm going to say I like that one because that's the one that makes the most sense. So kind of like what this guy's doing, which is not good, by the way. But as kids, you don't know any better. At that time, I hadn't really accepted myself as gay yet, so I genuinely thought I could date a girl. Long story short, nothing really happened between us. We talked here and there, but I just couldn't force myself to want to date her, even though I tried to convince myself otherwise. Are you me? But like male version? It ended up taking a toll on my mental health, and probably one of the source of my depression back then. I was even called slurs for trying to say I'm not interested in that girl anymore to my friends. Yeah, I mean, the best thing you can do is walk away. Like, as soon as you realize, no, the attraction will not form here, you can't think your way into being attracted to someone, you have to walk away again because it's not fair to you and it's not fair to that person. Indeed. As soon as you know, you walk away. You don't have to even tell them, like, listen, I found out I'm gay or something. Just be like, it's not working out. Sorry. It's not you, it's me. It's also your gender.
Yeah.
Leave that part out. But yeah, no, I get this for sure. But better late than never, right? Like, you figured it out. You didn't really do anything with the girl. Hopefully she wasn't invested. So anyways, in high school, even though I still hadn't come out, some of my close friends picked up on my orientation and were actually cool with it. Yay, congrats. I'm a masculine gay man who is mask for mask. You guys do this too? I thought this was just like femme for femme, mask for mask. I don't know if this is. Okay. In the past, I've been shamed for this preference and tried to keep it secret. Really? What's shameful about mask for mask?
What's shameful about
Weird.
that?
Now even tried dating feminine gay men and it never worked out. There were numerous men that I wasted time with, and now thankfully I have the courage to just flatly say no and simply be blunt as to why, because the dude is a fairy princess. I don't know any gay man that prefers like really feminine guys. I kind of feel bad for the feminine men. So like maybe it's fine and I'm just, I don't personally
the gay
know
men
that
don't really
prefers
like
that.
feminine
But yeah, I just realized
men.
I wonder if there's like a shortage in the
men.
community. It seems like the gay community has an unspoken disdain against regular gay men who walk and talk and sound like men. We're idealized for an hour a day in the bedroom, but at all other times we're expected to be the perfect little femboys. There's like a certain type of straight woman that keeps her gay bestie as like a little pet, and like even the way they speak to them immediately is different than how she speaks to everyone else. So she'd be like, whatever. And I don't know, it's always rubbed me the wrong way. It feels a little bit objectifying. And if you're not like that, if you're just like a more masculine dude, but you're gay, it's no fun. What do you mean you don't want to see a musical? Otherwise, we are considered self-denying and repressive ourselves, or even potentially violent and destructive, equivalent to toxic masculinity.
Oh, no,
what's wrong with just looking normal, like basic, even? What's wrong with that? I like that. They can shave their head, they can get, a million tattoos and piercings, that's fine. That's their choice. But it's nice to have some women out there that look normal. Like, that would be great. Because nowadays, it's like, especially within the gay community, it's a little bit rare. I mean, it depends where you are, where you go. Certain settings obviously will have a certain look. But why are we shaming people that like that prefer that style, and them not being gay enough or looking a certain way? It feels like masculine gay men make everyone uncomfortable, both for straight men and feminine gay men, just for different reasons. Then along comes a masculine gay dude, indistinguishable from other straight guys, at least on the surface, and he shatters that illusion. So it causes a lot of misplaced aggression. Yeah, I feel like maybe I have seen this a bit online, though, with certain gay, I'm not gonna say conservative gay men, but just gay men that aren't super flamboyant, right, and perhaps lean right. Then it's like, oh, pick me, you hate yourself, you're this and that, just for not being like, hey girl, what's up, feminism. Let's go to a drag show. I'm asexual, but I do have a boyfriend. He's my first ever boyfriend, and I'm his first ever girlfriend. Aw, people accuse me of denying him a proper relationship because of that. Why? Well, actually, he would have to be asexual too, no? I'm expected by others to be kissing and making out, eventually having sex with him, just for being in a relationship with him. I mean, listen, if he's fine with it, and he knows that you're asexual, and that's not going to change because, you know, some guys, they're probably thinking, oh, maybe eventually. If he accepts that fully, and perhaps is even asexual himself, what's the problem? You can just enjoy each other's company in other ways, even though he doesn't expect that from me at all. Okay, great. He's very respectful of me, and most we do is hug, talk, play video games together. When we're not zapped of energy from our jobs. Yeah, we just behave like friends, but we're happy as we are. Well, even if you're asexual, it doesn't mean you're a romantic, right? So you could have a romantic connection with someone. I don't understand the problem. Before ever meeting him, back when I was still living in Puerto Rico, I got accused by both classmates and my mom's family being homosexual because I had never dated anyone. Now they find out about my boyfriend. They're going to complain like he's white when I was younger. Why is everyone complaining? Why can't they just let you live? You're not doing anything wrong. This is very cute. I'm rooting for you guys. I will say, I do know an asexual, and I believe in it. Like, some people don't believe in asexuality. I believe in it. It's just that I did have this really weird conversation with this asexual girl years ago, a different person, and she was talking about her intimate situation that she had with this guy. Mind you, I knew her for a few hours, and she was already speaking about this for some reason, and because she thought that was appropriate to share. And then she goes on to say, yeah, I'm asexual. Some asexuals have sex. I'm like, okay, but you don't experience sexual attraction. She's like, it's a spectrum, you know, like, some of us do it.
Yeah. I guess but it's a what's the point of having a label
at that point? You know, definitions exist for a reason. If that's not what you are, that's a different thing. I don't think she was actually asexual. Unless you're doing something that you don't want to do, in which case, don't do that. Again, not fair to either person, but there are some genuine, you know, asexual people out there. Good for you. I was in college 2020. A friend of mine would always ask me about other gays we were in school with and whether I was attracted to them or not. Yeah, of course. Oh, you're gay? I have the perfect person for you. Shows me a photo of a woman I would never date, not because they're terrible or whatever, but this person knows not my type, but because they're gay too. It's meant to be, you see. But, you know, of course, no hate towards them. They're just trying to help. But this is like if you tell me you're straight and I pick the most random person on earth just because they're also straight, and I show you and I say, look, this is the perfect individual for you. Just because you're gay doesn't mean you don't have standards and preferences. One guy she asked me about was extremely flamboyant and loud type of guy. I was honest about how I'm not attracted whatsoever to guys like that. I'm thinking it's just a preference. What could I have said that was so controversial? Nothing. She went on to address my internalized homophobia. Also, this is a common thing that gay men get for, that she accused me of possessing and how I need to work on my preferences to be inclusive to all types of gay guys. She went ham on me for months about my family life, how I was raised, and why I'm having homophobic tendencies. So this is actually reminding me of my mask thing that I told you guys about, where I'm actually also a homophobe. I have internalized homophobia because I don't like masks. That's my preference. I don't like it. Because gay woman, to them, has to equal masculine woman. So if you don't like masculine women, you are homophobic. It's just not adding up. And in their head, it probably is. It doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't. And same thing here. Like, if anything, two masculine dudes, two feminine women, arguably, I would say, is gayer than one guy trying to look like a girl with a masculine man, one feminine woman, one woman trying to look like a guy. Heteronormativity. So,
that makes sense,
and let people have their preferences. How about that? You wouldn't say this to a straight person. You wouldn't be like, you're not allowed to like tomboys, right? You're not allowed to like masculine men. You have to like every man and every woman out there. No, you guys want equality, but you're not letting gay people have preferences, just like straight people have preferences.
Everyone's allowed to have
racism accusations from my old friend group because I've never been keen on the idea of dating within my own race. For context, I'm a Mexican woman in southwestern US, so the region is densely populated by other Mexicans, but the approach to dating among them in this region is heavily influenced by Mexican cowboy culture. You see, they seem to love Arabian horses because they are notoriously extremely stubborn and difficult to break. Successfully breaking it becomes a status symbol. Whether knowingly or not, men in the region take the same approach to women and treat us the way they do Horses, really.
That's
The freer and
horrible.
more resistant to control a woman is, the more appealing she becomes to men because now she's a challenge to be beaten. Oh, that's lovely. The aim is oftentimes to find the most passionate,
That's
stubborn, feisty
misogyny.
woman and essentially strip her of all her hobbies and personality and leave behind only
Oh my
obedience. Okay, well,
God.
obviously this is not all the Mexican men in the region, of course, but this has been probably her experience, unfortunately. Now I really don't want to be treated like that, so the majority of the options available to me are not great. So, pretty early on, I figured I'd have to look elsewhere for the type of person I'd be interested in. I find I'm fairly into Korean guys. Okay, listen, and even if this wasn't the case with the kind of culture and pattern of trying to tame a woman or whatever, even if that wasn't a thing, and you just happen to prefer Asian men, right? Korean men specifically, that's okay. I think that's so crazy to go after people for not dating within their own race or dating within their own race. That's also completely valid, even if you're white. Meanwhile, the number of men here I've heard say deadly serious that washing your in the shower is gay because, and I quote, he who cleans his house is expecting visitors. It's a number above 5. Okay, so now maybe that's why some straight women have said this to me, where it's like, I wish I was gay. But still, don't say that. But this is crazy if this is true. Hygiene is very important, guys, regardless of your gender or sexuality. Basic hygiene does not make you gay. My standards are literally as low as don't treat me like a horse and bathe, but I guess gravitating towards a group of people that's a little more likely to meet them and ruling out the ones that I know don't makes me racist. Well, obviously, you can find a Mexican man that is very clean, takes hygiene seriously, just like you can find a Korean man that's not so clean, right? Every individual is different, but if you just prefer a certain race, like you're more attracted to one race than another, that's fine. No one should be giving you for that. Misha, you asked the right question. I'm a lesbian. In high school, I was dating this girl. I thought she only liked men for quite a while, as she did a flip-flop from being lesbian to bisexual to a gay man. What? Lesbian to bi to a
She's
gay
trying
to
things out and trying to figure out who she is.
She must have had a lot of free time. However, in my high school, this was pretty popular at the time,
Nothing wrong
and most
about
girls
that.
just kind of grew out of it. Yeah, I mean, we also had a bunch of labels, some more popular than others, and would just circulate. If the gender thing was in, it would probably be non-binary too. Different pronouns every week, the whole thing. This girl and I had been friends for a while, and I had always made it clear I was a lesbian. However, my friend came out as bisexual, and it started showing signs of being interested in me. I was a bit wary, but when she asked me if I'd be interested in dating her, I agreed. The first couple months of us dating was pretty good. That is until she started saying things like, I seriously thought you were gonna reject me. I thought you were the gayest person ever. What? Well, being in a relationship with another woman is pretty gay. So what's that about? This put me off because I still was a lesbian. Eventually, she got back to her old ways of making comments about wanting to be a man. This confused me. So I mentioned how I still identified as a lesbian and she understood that, right? Oh, so she's gonna do that. Oh, well, I'm a man now, so you're in a straight relationship. Is that what this is? See, and that's your sign to go. Because how come they get to hold on to their precious identity, but you saying, listen, I'm a lesbian, I'm interested in being in a relationship with another woman who identifies as a woman and is a woman, that's too problematic. Get the f*** out. This confused me, so I mentioned how I still identified as a lesbian and she understood that, right? She agreed, but a few weeks later she came out to me as a trans man. So it's like her responsibility again to be like, listen, girl, I'm a guy now, so this can't work. Just that at least. So you don't waste time, right? I didn't really know how to take this. She still looked like a girl and I was attracted to her, but I didn't want to date a guy. Yeah, I remember years ago. And I thought she was a lesbian, and she was a lesbian. Because there's a vibe you get, you just know if you have a good gaydar, and I have a good gaydar. And she wore flannels every now and then, and I just assumed, and I was right. But then, speaking to a few friends, I learned, no, this is actually a she-they transitioning to a man. By transitioning, meaning like she wore more and more flannels. This was her reasoning. That was her transition. And fine, if you think that makes you a man, cool. I wish you well. But I didn't even speak to her. I was just kind of like, oh, but no. Hearing that was like, okay, got it. Also, no plan to actually transition, take hormones or anything. You just wear certain clothing and tell people you're now a guy. And so if you do end up dating a woman, that woman isn't a lesbian anymore. She's a straight woman. Is this what you think? She started pushing things on me, labeling our relationship a straight relationship, saying I shouldn't be calling myself a lesbian, that type of thing. What's worse is our mutual friends got on it too and started saying your boyfriend and questioning my sexuality. Girl, okay, so at this point you should have left. The final straw was when our friend group was talking about how much they wish they were men. Why is everyone sexist? Why? And I mentioned I actually enjoy being a woman. They all gave me flabbergasted looks and questioned how I could possibly enjoy that. I had enough. I broke up with my boyfriend that night. My boyfriend.
Good for her.
And that's the thing with some trans men. right? It stems from sexism, internalized misogyny. They genuinely can't accept being a woman, and they fear being a woman, and what that means, in our society and all of that. And that's really sad. And that's why some of them transition. They don't actually have gender dysphoria. Actually, I'll go a step further. I think in some lesbian relationships, if there is, and this I know from some friends, sometimes this happens where a very masculine woman, she's not actually transitioning or thinks she's actually a man, but it's like she treats the other woman like, and just takes on this role as a toxic man. It just looks really ridiculous. So it's just like role-playing as a really awful guy. That's the best way I can explain it. There are multiple versions of this. And that's really unfortunate, again. When you are at war with your femininity, obviously you can present one way, you can be a masculine woman, there's nothing wrong with that, but to take on the worst aspects of toxic masculinity and toxic femininity because you think that's okay since you present this way, it's ridiculous. What really pissed me off was the lack of communication and nuance, as well as the fact everyone was so immediate to take her side and call me straight or bi and label me. But any pushback on my boyfriend was unacceptable. It's not fair to invalidate someone else's label while demanding respect for your own, but they can't understand this because if they're more oppressed because they're not binary, they can do whatever they want. You no longer
Oppression
you're
Olympics.
just a lesbian. What's that in the grand scheme of things? You're dealing with a non-binary he, they, trans, whatever, right? So you're below, girl. You gotta shut up. You gotta take on whatever label they give you because you're not as oppressed. Like I want it safe to say I will only be dating women, and not whatever that situation was. And who can blame you, truly? I'm a homosexual. And trans men get super mad when I, as a gay man, say I wouldn't date them. So same thing here. Believe it or not, gay men, like actual homosexual men, want to date a man with a penis. And women, actual lesbian women, want to date a woman with a vagina. That was my little biology class for you. But that's how it works. If that's not relatable to you as a gay person, you're not gay, okay? You're probably bi, and that's fine. Completely fine. But to then go after gay men and women and say, no, you have to be okay with this, is insane. It's giving conversion therapy. Ew. Because in their mind, they can claim to be same-sex attracted as well, despite being the opposite sex. Instead of just respecting that I, as a male, am gay and only attracted to other males, they go off the deep end and call me all sorts of names, insinuate I'm too ugly. Anyway, all for simply being homosexual. Wait, this is giving, will you go out with me? No? Okay, you ugly bitch. I didn't like you anyway. This is what that reminds me of. Like, sorry, but that's what being gay means. Two males of the same biological sex who are sexually and emotionally attracted to each other. No, well now it also means a biological woman who says she's a guy. So you gotta like her now. You gotta go straight. I hate how words now have zero meaning, and I echo others' comments about hookup culture as well. I'm totally with you there. I'm just into taking things at a slow pace and being monogamous. Yes. Is this asking too much?
Okay.
And also no they thems, please. I guess this is a rarity. But not impossible, guys. I've got for hating dating apps and pressured by many friends to try to get on them. I also hate hookup culture and called not a real gay for not hooking up, whatever that means. I've also been accused of faking being gay because of my political affiliation, and I wasn't accepted by a lot of ex-friends who were part of the community. Yeah, been there, done that. I'm a bi woman, but I'm 90% attracted to women and 10% attracted to men. I love it. It's like a math equation. When I say that, I have a preference for women, but I'm open to dating men. Everyone tells me that I'm practically a lesbian. Again, guys, like, bisexual.
Bi
Let
is
the
the thing.
Be bisexual. Is that okay? The only part I get a little bit annoyed with the bisexuals is when they're not actually bisexual. They're just saying they're bisexual. They literally only date the opposite gender, and not because, oh, it's easier or they just haven't gotten to the other gender, whatever. They don't even like the same gender, and they just take on that label just to be special. But it's actually a straight person. That's the only time I find it annoying. But if you're actually bi, shout out to my lesbians. But I hate it when people push me into a box I don't fit in. And shout out to my straight girls and bi girls, right? This is a bi woman? Yes, you are valid. But really, you are. Then I'm called weird for not accepting who I truly am. How do you know me better than I know myself? They don't. This is weird. Hi. Good morning, kitty. I once received backlash from a friend for saying that I, as a 24-year-old, wouldn't feel comfortable dating anyone under 20. And I'm with you there. I'm also 24. That's crazy. I'm sorry, I don't even think women are women until they're 30, at least. Except me, though. She said that was offensive to mature 18 and 19-year-olds who are legally adults. Oh, girl, were you groomed? This sounds like you were groomed. Mature 18 or 19-year-olds? Yes, I get it. It's legal. But it's weird. If you're like, let's say, a 40-year-old, you could date an 18-year-old. But should you date an 18-year-old? thinking about the maturity level there. Regardless of your sexuality, regardless if it's a woman, woman, man, 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 woman, whatever. Here's the thing. I have nothing against age gaps. I think it's totally fine. I get it. But it depends how old the youngest person is. For example, even like a 20-year age gap is completely fine. Let's say one of you is 60, the other's 40. Fine. Let's say one of you is 20, the other's 40. Okay, now it's getting a bit weird because a 20-year-old, again, the maturity level, it's very different than a 40-year-old. So when we're talking about 18, that's kind of close. Oh, and it continues. 18 and 19-year-olds who are legally adults and went through childhood trauma that made them have to grow up fast. What does that have to do with anything, though? That's your preference. You don't want to date that young. Get out. I was also called racist because I prefer to date within my religion. What does religion and race have to do with each other? This is insane. Okay, you're allowed to have religious preferences, racial preferences, age preferences. You're allowed to have a sexuality. People can get upset, but it's your life. And as long as you're not hurting yourself or anyone else, as long as it's between two consenting adults, let them say what they want to say. And that's all. I'm going to make more videos like this, so make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell.
Yeah, everyone's allowed to have preference and like what they like. That's it for today's videos, folks. Please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers before Christmas. Peace out. See you in the next video. Bye.